So, picture that the world is one family. Picture that the world is one family. Oh, and the world is like the Peace Corps. The world is like the Peace Corps as one family. Stay till the end to find out how that's relevant. But take yourself back to childhood when you were working for the school. Some people in the school, as children, would go around to neighbors' doors and knock on them to be able to ask neighbors for support for certain given processes and get little incentive bonuses for developing donation tactics. Whereas, like, for example, sometimes you would sell gift wrapping paper. For example, you would sell gift wrapping paper to neighbors by knocking on their doors. And it was a way to bring awareness and also some extra donations to certain causes that the schools were raising awareness for. However, the children would not get paid. And that's okay, because the purpose of this whole podcast is to actually do the opposite in this world, in this Peace Corps world structure, incentivization, structure, concept, family, mindset dynamic, if you will. Whereas, as opposed to money around this world, we just kind of vibe like we're all one giant family, if that makes sense. Because in essence, when we leverage the concept of being like one large Peace Corps family, like everyone in the world is one large Peace Corps family, like the Peace Corps. What the Peace Corps does is they make a business out of volunteering and Peace Corps activities, if you will. So if we're just trying to fundamentally follow in their footsteps, follow and be a giant Peace Corps family process, that is similar, in my opinion, to the way things could be if it was similar to being a child and selling gift wrapping paper door to door to neighbors. Whereas, as opposed to getting dollars and cents necessarily, kids could receive incentive bonuses and certain prizes like a bicycle, for example, or some shoes that were unique and sort of flashy and charismatic and at the same time trending. So, this is what I'm talking about for the future potential of our world and also the past potential of our world. But anyway, we're here, so for now, let's try to focus on what the whole purpose of this whole concept is supposed to regard. What I'm referring to is the mindset that the actual money within the system, the actual methodology that we leverage money, is something that is a little bit too serious for the way that things should be and how they could be necessarily. Because in essence, if we all are one large giant Peace Corps family, that conceptualizes the notion and the mentality and the mention that every single person in the whole world can pick up a broomstick and contribute to this global family, to this global conceptual construct, which corresponds to the essence of the best well-being looked after by all human beings, for all human beings, for the purpose of the best greater good for all human beings as one significant family. Whereas what we have right now in terms of the structure is something a little bit more twisted after all, seemingly, because in essence it's like the lifeblood of life that we're trading around, known as money. Realistically, the reality nature of money and monetary energy is something a lot more deep and a little bit more peculiar than is necessarily necessary from the way it appears on the surface, and when just sort of analyzing at a surface level layer how the world works and functions in terms of the deep-rooted nature and significant functionality of money and monetary energy from the core systematic sense. Meaning that it's like we take the blood of actual potential life and give it to other people for doing jobs and doing good jobs so that in essence they can just buy stuff. It doesn't seem to make any sense in a practical, realistic, just surface level, surface layer, top level sense. So when we get to the core focus of the bones of what I'm actually referring to, it's the matter that we're using the lifeblood of life to be able to go out and spend money on vanity metrics, on vain purchases, on surface level, basic, fundamental, flashy materialism. We're spending the core lifeblood of life, of livelihood, actual livelihood, and the betterness and the well-being of human beings, of human life that exists on this planet, to sacrifice those for the betterment of people's materialistic indulgences, if you will. And that's the nature of the concept of twisting the nature of leveling up reality and leveling up the playing field of reality for human beings in all walks of life, in every single country on the planet, in every single city on the planet, in every single town and city and place in between every city in the whole world should have a good looking out systematization for every single human being on the planet. So after all, the aspect and the fundamental purpose of being a human is credited and awarded by existence with a whole host of significant tools and terms and services which are able to meet a human being at their birth to their better well-being and their best interest all the way through their existence, just for the purpose of getting that existence happening to begin with. So the way things are is a little bit more twisted, but if we were to just flow alongside with what I'm talking about, with the Peace Corps family mindset, if you will, and everybody's picking up a broom, and it's just kind of like being at the dinner table every night at 7:30 p.m. to have dinner among a family, if you will, it doesn't matter if you are necessarily one who has a job or doesn't have a job, or you're putting away necessarily significant marks on that scoreboard of life. After all, if you're a part of a family because you're born into a family, and you do not necessarily just get ousted from a family because you're not necessarily a high achiever like it works in the workplace necessarily. So with this in mind, everybody's included. Everybody can pick up a broomstick. Everybody's obligated actually to pick up a broomstick and to contribute and do significantly more like what are known as chores, if you will, and that systematization of every single human being in the world being capable of picking up broomsticks to be able to contribute to the livelihood of every other human being in the world is much more productive than people who do good jobs at big famous companies that are so trendy that they have what is known as the lifeblood of humanity, aka monetary energy, aka money, aka this money is the lifeblood of humanity. Whereas if we all had one large, giant, significant Peace Corps family, then the whole world could more or less just function along credit. And I don't mean credit like you get a credit card from the bank. I mean social credit from just doing good deeds and being recognized for them. By developing impact, you get awareness. You develop more awareness. And for this awareness, it brings us back to the front side where we're talking about the essence of getting incentives and bonuses and trips and perks and bicycles and new shoes like you would receive if you were a child and you were able to sell some neighbors successfully some interesting artifacts known as wrapping paper during Christmas time or the holidays or whenever that time was when you would get those little forms, donation slips to be able to get neighbors to fill them out so that you in essence could get them to trade their dollars and cents for you to receive incentivization perks, if you will. And then you get an incentive for developing this when we're relaying it back to the global macro perspective of this iteration, which I'm trying to draw upon developing a global world family in the form of the Peace Corps world family, that in essence, this social credit, if you develop a high significant social credit score, not like one that's ever been invented before in essence. I'm just talking about everybody in the world picking up their broomsticks, and if they all do good jobs, if people do good jobs in the world, then they get incentives which are given out by the whole global family. The whole global family can give them out, if you will, but if you will, in the future, what we want to try to depict is the essence of the hope and the notion where there is gratitude that's so high and so significant just for the essence and the purpose of being alive, just to have the concept of existence happen, if you will, and that just to be a thing which is to be appreciated, that not only is that enough for existence to be able to occur in a gratification sense for all human beings, especially the high functioning ones which can create significant impact in our world, but at the same time that they're content giving everything that they have away because they develop and find a mindset, place in a mindset, if you will, where they can just willfully give everything away because they know it's better for the global good and the global economy. Whereas the way things are right now is money actually is a symbol for the actual root of the lifeblood of life and humans and humanity of life. So because people do a good job at a high-rated, trendy company in this world, it doesn't mean that necessarily that the way that the system should work is they should take the lifeblood, because it's two-sided negativity. Not only are they distracting themselves from finding more enrichment of the force and the flow and the vibe and the fuel of life, which corresponds to spiritual finance fundamentally to begin with, which is fundamental gratification and gratitude, if you will, from just existence and finding elements in nature to be able to try to vibe and connect with just based upon nature and reality that connects to significant inventions of nature and reality that can feed into the spirit and the soul, and that actual materialism of getting material reward in the form of of dollars and cents, and people being distracted by those material rewards that they're given and gifted for doing a good job that is actually then therefore detracting from the lifeblood of the rest of humanity and society, if you will, that is a double negative. Because again, I just said the second double negative. It takes away from the lifeblood and detracts that high value energy known as monetary energy from the lifeblood and the humanity and the potential for other human beings to be able to reap the benefits of that global Peace Corps family, everybody in the world picking up a broomstick to develop a significant greater social good type of a mindset. So it's two-sided. Rich people, they detract themselves from the essence of finding gratitude and higher abilities to be able to connect with the best elements of life, which are free connections to cellular connectivity of the spirit and the soul and the mind and nature, by isolating themselves and barricading themselves away from getting that conceptual connectivity and that conceptual gratitude and gratification from that connectivity and connection. And they also detract the lifeblood from the world, because they're given that ability to take away the lifeblood from the world for their selfish needs, to be able to buy material goods, if you will. Material goods, which in essence are detracting just from some material goods, which you can get the same conceptual spiritual benefit from that you can get from spending $20 million on a few dinners, on a few parties, and this, that, the other thing, a few jets and planes, as you can from flying commercial airlines, as you can from eating healthy food that's store-bought and organic, and it's just not cooked by a Michelin 5-star chef, but you eat it yourself after it was grown straight from the vine as an organic piece of fruit or vegetables, if you will, and then you're not taking the lifeblood away from humanity. But it's the opposite, because we're all one Peace Corps family. We have the mindset, the consistency, the respect, the development for ever-present conceptualization and gratitude, not just for life and existence, if you will, but the other 8 billion people on the planet are all given times at the same time as well. So that fundamentally we have a flow, a vibe, a respect, a nature, a nurture, a conceptual acknowledgement of every single other human being on this planet and humanity at all given times, if you will, because that's the essence and the nature of this global foundational fundamental Peace Corps family, if you will. And sure, there's incentives and perks like cool new bicycles if you develop enough social credit and you have enough awareness that you're bringing enough impact and enough impact flow to society and humanity, if you will, and enough value to society and humanity that you get social credit. Not like any existing social credit system that exists today. Not at all. It's the one where the social element of having a global Peace Corps family is the priority, and everybody wants to look out for that family because fundamentally it's just what's right. Because the opposite of leveraging materialism at the same time as detracting the lifeblood of humanity, which is monetary energy, the actual core of what can make differences and changes and positive outcomes for people in every single country in the world, not just the countries that have all the money today, but every single country in the world, by developing a less self-centered, a less selfish mindset, a less selfish society, and a less selfish focus, connects us not only to a better life and a better livelihood by connecting better, more so to nature and the cellular connection and connectivity to the electronic natural electricity, which stems from nature's natural naturality, if you will. It's also a matter of not taking away from the most significant energy that is in humanity, created by humanity, and that has been developed to date, which is monetary energy. We can then therefore have this mindset of everybody developing, and just like a sport, just like kids, they go out and they play the sport and they have fun and then they leave it out all on the field. It's the same in life, as a family, as humanity. We play life every day in this Peace Corps family, if you will. We go do volunteering, we do voluntourism, so it travels across borders. It goes from one day to the next, from every single corner of the world to every single other corner of the world. This energy, this electricity travels through nature into the roots and the vines from one side of the planet to the next through the actual underpinnings and the undertones of the root networks of the roots in the planet of the earth to actually saturate the elements of the nature beneath our feet, so that then and therefore it stems into the society between our toes and into the sky. So it permeates everywhere, the essence of giving, the element of giving, to take care of our global Peace Corps family, if you will. And then our social system and the energy within it becomes a little bit more healthy, because we're actually looking out for the whole global family. and we're just leaving it on the field like kids. Like, we're leaving all of our monetary energy that we developed on the field. Like, so you're making all this monetary energy, all this global impact, all this global credit, just like you would if you were at work, just like if you were at any other job, except the paycheck is translated into your best interest because you're looking out for the best optimization for the whole globe and the whole family. And so it's like you're picking up a broom and you're doing chores for the whole family and the betterment of the whole family to be as happy as possible. And that whole family is benefiting from everybody else's work and tidiness and lean focus on the better, greater good of the whole family. And everybody knows that by playing the game as best as you can every day and leaving it all on the field, that it's not just being left on the field, it's actually being absorbed into the earth, into planet Earth, for the global family to be able to walk on that planet Earth. And every single person in the whole world gets to benefit and feels the essence of that new vibrancy and functionality and flow and functioning element of reciprocity among the air in planet Earth, in and among planet Earth, for all humans, all humanity. Oh, and that's also known as the Global Philanthropy Energy Grid and Global Philanthropy Energy and the Global Good Deeds Economy. That's the Peace Corps Global Family Situation Membership among us all. In today's podcast flow, let's vibe with that mindset and spread it and put it into the air so we can all benefit from the social credit system and stop detracting the most core essence of the most significant energy that we have on this planet of planet Earth, which is monetary energy, so we can resave, preserve, and put all of our energy and our eggs of monetary energy back into the egg basket for the whole world to be able to benefit from, so we can bring up all of humanity in every single corner of planet Earth so that everybody knows that they're appreciated, because they are appreciated, because they must be appreciated, because they're part of the global family. Including animals, including shelter animals as well. So we have to clear the animal shelters, foster all the shelter animals, foster all the shelter animals, and clear the animal shelters by adopting shelter animals as well, and hiring shelter animals as healers among communities. Yeah, hiring shelter animals as healers among all of the communities in the world, in all the cities and towns in the world. Yeah. That's all for now. Thanks again. Ding Tech Change for Games. Ding Tech Change for Games Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.